I would like to invite Mr. Rupchand Lohana, who is the Head of Operational Excellence and Analytics at Larsen Toubro. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So, we'll be just covering some part of theory of operational excellence, and most of it will be a lot of case studies. Why operational excellence, why it's critical today? You want efficiency, effectiveness, consistency go up because there is a lot of competition and volatility in the market. You need to reach out. I think your challenges are becoming more and more only. You want continuous improvement and minimizing waste because changes are happening, technology is changing, the needs are changing, and finally, you need to monitor the customer value, and you need to continuously exceed the expectations. That's the need, and that's where you need to be agile and adaptable. I think why operational excellence, if you, the one-line summary, it should help you to become agile and adaptable so that you can meet those changing needs today the way things are changing. As I said, what was achieved in last 20 years is now getting achieved in 5 years, and the rate of change has become significant. And need is far more stringent to be adaptable, and that's where operational excellence. Now, there are 3 pillars of operational excellence. First is people, obviously everywhere, then process, and then technology. But or any of the initiatives or any of the program, operational excellence programs you try to look at, you will have to define or address at least one of these components. But what is more important is that all this has to be seen with a focus on the customers. It can't be, sometimes it could be an internal customer, but most of the time it is about you have to figure out that how this is going to affect my output to a next department or my output to the end customer. And that's very key. There are a lot of frameworks. As I said, PPT is very generic framework talking about 3 angles of any activity or any operational excellence or any change management. But more importantly, there are far more detailed frameworks which are available today in the market, or should I say a lot of knowledge is available in the market, let it be Lean, Six Sigma, Kaizen, so on and so forth. You have to take and commit to a framework. I think, as I said, each framework has its pluses and minuses. Look at something which is very exhaustive framework and stick to all dimensions of it. Many a times, as I said, the chain is as strong as the weakest link in the chain. You miss a particular link which is very weak, the whole efforts which are your strengths may actually give you a very less result. So that's important. So commit to a framework, that's very crucial. What are the key elements? Again, I said a lot of frameworks are there, but typically these will be the titles. There has to be a leadership commitment. Now, question is, how do you measure this leadership commitment in terms of time they give, in terms of budget they provide? So you need to figure out whether this component does exist in your organization. If you are at a junior level and trying to change a lot, and there is a lot of, actually there is a requirement for there, you need to really figure out that whether your boss is allowing you to do it, or as I said, you need to measure for whatever work you are doing or whatever operational excellence, depending on what level. If you are doing at your local business unit level, whether your business unit head is interested in it or giving time to it. At some point, obviously, someone really initiative and he can drive, but at some point you need that support from the top. Again, what is the cross-functional component? Many a times you do some work in one area, it affects, like say marketing affects sales, sales affects operations, operations affect logistics, so on and so forth. So whatever you are doing, whatever area you are taking, how does it affect each of your plus the previous function and the next function? Are you measuring the right KPIs? I think that's very crucial. I've listed down some of the KPIs, but you'll have to figure out that are there any KPIs out there? What are the policies and incentives? Why should people do it? One thing is a guy who is implementing may have its own motivation to show their success, but the guy on whom this is getting implemented, the general employee set, are they going to get benefited out of this, or it is being done only for the top management? So policies, incentives for both users and implementers both. Obviously, detailed plan and monitoring cadence, how frequently you are monitoring it, how frequently you are reporting it. And finally, training, communication, change management plan. These are all generic dimensions. You will have much more detailed framework elements, but this is a kind of crux. What will you measure? Let's say KPI is key. So customer satisfaction you want to measure. You can measure in terms of scores, promoter scores. Maybe you can measure the price itself. You can look at how much price he was paying per product. That could be one KPI, and obviously indirectly it will also affect in get it done in customer satisfaction sure. But you need to figure out, as I said, you measure customer financial performance, operational efficiency, and employee engagement. All these dimensions, you list down all the KPIs. See, one of the things with the KPIs I have seen is data nahi hai, or data is very difficult to capture. So you also need to figure out that element, that what is easier to capture and what is less, and obviously whether it is important. So as I said, lot of tools, methodologies, hell lot of literature is available. Just go to internet. Where you can do it? Everywhere. Manufacturing, supply chain, customer service, product development, human resources, everywhere operational excellence is possible. Basically everywhere. Take a framework, take a problem, look at all the elements, solve for it. What are the tools which we have been recently using in is video analytics, robotic process automation, industrial Internet of Things, industrial robots, digital systems. I think a lot of tech part has been showcased in the stalls, and also some of the speakers before me have spoken about it. Generative AI, augmented. What I will be showing you today is the kind of what kind of implementation we have done as a company in an EPC environment. So another thing is most of the projects are not pure software. There is always a software and a hardware element, and many times where the projects tend to fail is the integration part of it. So when you're doing video analytics, and maybe when I go to the individual use cases, and I'll be running a bit fast because there's a lot of content, but point is, look at not just when you look at the tool, also look at what is the software element of it and what is the hardware element of it. Because hardware element may be touched by few, software element may be touched by few, whereas a hardware element touch points could be too many. There will be extra touch points for that each application to be successful. This is L&T. We are core EPC projects company. Of course, we have starting from financial services, LTI, Mindtree, engineering and technology services, realty, fabrication. We are like a conglomerate. Can you go to slide 53? Just 53 and 54. Press 53 and 54. 53, enter. 53 and enter. Yeah. So, no, I think not going there. That's fine. Sorry. So, okay. So I represent out of the L&T, I represent the hydrocarbon, L&T Energy hydrocarbon piece, where we are primarily into oil and gas offshore projects. We have built a lot of refineries, petrochemical complexes, offshore platforms, hydrocarbon pipelines, and these are the current business units which we operate in. Next. Sorry. '54. Slides on that. So I just wanted to say we are proud L&T builders to the nation, and the kind of projects we have done, starting from Atal Setu, Bangalore Airport, Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir, Mumbai Coastal Project. There are landmarks we have done both domestically. Next slide. 54, 55 or maybe. And also internationally. So we have done the Al Ayan Qatar Stadium, where the FIFA World Cup was played, and so many. Now you can go back to the original slide, 9 or 10, I think, 9. So we are doing huge power plants. We are doing a huge solar as part of PT&D. Okay, so coming back. Yeah, so the For L&T hydrocarbon, which I am talking about, this is the 5 areas which I will be showcasing as a part of the thing. First is proactive safety, where we are doing a lot of work to use this technology for proactive safety. This is a classic case where if somebody violates the e-barricade, automatically gets highlighted, and then those reporting starts happening. Then helmet and jumpsuit violation, we take safety very seriously, especially we are in a hydrocarbon industry. So that's become, so how many, is there a crowd, significant crowd in one location, or is there a PPE violation? Is there an unauthorized person sitting on an area or somewhere in the night suddenly, which idea is where area is nobody supposed to be there in the night, is some theft happening? Lot of this worker training, we want to train workers in either operating some equipment or utilization, where we are using a lot of this VR and training sets. Digital health clearing, we have I think close to 4 lakh plus workmen we deploy every year at any point of time actually. So maintaining their health, maintaining their biodata, and we want to do it in a much cheaper and efficient manner. So how it can be done, and so that it helps also them. Workers also, when they are workmen also there, they feel proud to work with L&T, because the way we treat them is much better than any other contractors would do them. Similarly, e-permit to work, we are doing such heavy things, lifting heavy things, and it is important that it is all captured automatically. Then digital HSE management, a lot of digital apps, what we talk about, we have developed a lot of this in-house. Next is the connected workplaces. So when we say connected workplaces, we want to know how many people are working, how many people are part of, they are in a particular area, what activity they are doing, whether they are standing only or they are busy with something, either they are bending or they are just stationary. Another is RFID tracking. There's one stall outside where we have the platform. We want to know in what area how many people are doing, where there is no direct sight of that. The previous case which we showcased was more about using a video analytics, but there is a case where, oh, this is running too fast than what I thought. Okay, so video analytics is about also how many people are there in a particular area. So we want to know and monitor, so that all this reporting, as I said, capturing data for digital is very important. Then machine monitoring, whether machine is working, whether machine is cutting, whether machine is rolling, or how much time it was standby. Then vehicle monitoring, how many vehicles are there, how much time the boom of Hydra was up, or how many times whether the engine was running. Then there are use cases on, we developed a use case where the petrol pump, there is a sensor put on the petrol pump, petrol browser. Unless that particular thing is authorized, he cannot pour the petrol. The browser and the sensor of the vehicle has to get matched. Remote inspection is another use case, because we have, especially this was a big issue in COVID times. Then we have implemented the digital twin, in which we have we do large scale projects which are $1 billion in length and huge volumes. So how do we connect the 2D data or 3D data with the physical progress data, or the SAP data, ERP data, or the vendor progress data, and make sure that that thing is readily available and can be easily accessed, especially the part where it is, you can see that these models are, you click on the model and you can see what areas, how much procurement is still pending, where the fabrication is pending, where the, whether something is coming late. You can highlight, you can say at this point of time what will become crucial or what will not be available, is this material been ordered. So a lot of this multi-D visualization areas. And obviously getting this dashboard, as I said, a lot of dashboards we have done to support this work. and make sure that this large-scale projects are not stuck because of small things in the piping. So again, next is advanced work packaging, identifying that for typically the cost is a big issue when something goes on standby. And we are operating on very thin margins, especially in projects business. We operate less than 10% margin, and anything standby is like cutting the margin. So we want to make sure that we mobilize resources only when there's sufficient work, or at the same time, we make sure that if the resource is mobilized, there is enough work front to feed them. So all this part is, again, as I said, the use cases of the whatever data is there, convert to a digital, convert to a system, make the right linkages, and make sure that this thing works better. Next is digital and physical automation, which is again about RPA. RPA, this is more about, let's say we created a use case where digital signature, whether an invoice which is being submitted from Ariba, is it coming with a class 3 digital signature? So that earlier manual, because in that case you don't need a hard copy of the invoice. So it processes. So it checks up and automatically says, okay, digital signature is there, please start processing the invoice, don't wait for the hard copy. So this is classic use case. Then, this is one sample use case, but we have done a lot of this wherever there was a copying, pasting data from one system to other system. This is RPA. This is a submerged arc welding, which machine is automatically rotating and spool is getting done. Earlier, otherwise the person will have to do the welding. Then, yeah. So similarly, orbital welding, robotic welding. Lot of this, as I said, physical. This is part of the physical automation. Finally, the last case is the knowledge management and analytics, where as I said, this is an area where a lot of human intelligence is involved. A lot of things are there, and the teams are. It's not that same team is doing same thing. There are like 50 projects happening parallelly. There's a lot of learning happening from one team to other team, and that's where how do we pass on the knowledge? We have got very young engineers coming out of college, and a lot of this business is about experience. So how do we make a 50-year, instead of using a 50-year project manager, how do we make a 30-year project manager? So there he has because by using this a lot of communities, and this was done even before ChatGPT came in. Now this is now integrated with the ChatGPT equivalent, so that a person can ask a question and get a sensible answer out of the thing without trying to go, or getting that knowledge much faster to him. That we call this drushti. There are each area of function, there is a knowledge, COE, Center of Excellence. Again, a lot of dashboards and analytics. I'll just run through them. Parametric analysis, pending delivery, so on and so forth. There are like 100 odd dashboards, and we keep doing this so that together we succeed with our customer. Thank you.